Okay, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion. I'm here at MEFA on the college planning team as director of MEFA Pathway. And just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone will be on mute throughout the presentation, just to cut back on the background noise. The session is being recorded, and following this presentation, I will send a follow-up email, which will have the link to the recording along with my contact information for any follow-up questions. So if you're an educator and you are eligible for PDP points for this session, so also within that follow-up email, there'll be a link to the evidence of learning form. It's an online form that you can fill out. Okay, great. So as an extension of all of the great resources that MEFA offers, MEFA Pathway is a cost-free, comprehensive college and career planning online web portal that's available for students in grades 6 through 12. So today's session will include, we're going to take a walk through the features that are available for students in grades 6 through 8. So you'll get an understanding of how students can take advantage of the tools available for those grade levels and how this builds a foundation and transitioning to the high school grade levels. So MEFA Pathway is an engaging, intuitive, interactive program that supports and guides post-secondary planning for all types of students. So it's been proven that early exploration and discovery are beneficial as it allows the students to start identifying and assessing how their interests, their values, their skills, their talents may align with a possible career. And MEFA Pathway helps to facilitate this. So when a student creates an account in grades 6, 7, or 8, they will see activities appropriate for those grade levels. So when they progress to the high school level, their MEFA Pathway account transitions with them seamlessly. So they do not create another account when they get to high school. And I'll show you those different tools and features within the platform that transition with the student. So it's very easy for a student to create an account. All students can create an account, and as a parent or as an educator, I would suggest and encourage you to create your own student account. So very simple, we're on mefapathway.org here, and the student would just select I'm a student, and then as a first-time user, they would go through that registration process. So very simple, very basic information. First, I'll show you the first page here so you can get an idea. So first name, last name, their date of birth. They would select the city or town that their school is in. So just as an example, select Acton here, and then all of the schools within that town populate. So then the student would just select their appropriate school. And then on the subsequent pages, they create a username, they create a password. They do have to have a working email address in order to create an account. So a lot of times, one of the decisions to be made is if the student would use a school email address as opposed to a personal email address. We never take these accounts away from students, so they can be 32 years old logging into MEFA Pathway if they like. So that's a consideration when they're creating that account. So they do a lot of times too, it's encouraged that the student create a format for their username and password, because that's always, forgetting the username and password. They can reset if they forget, of course, by their email address. They can get a password reset, or they can also, they create 2 security questions during that registration process, so they can reset by that way as well. So, all right, so I'm going to log into my test account here. So username and password right on that student login page. And my student here, Miss Willa, she's in grade 8. So as you can see, when the student logs in, they're brought to a dashboard. So based upon their grade level is what they see for age appropriate activities. So for the middle school kiddos, we have and I'll log into the high school portal too, so you can see the difference. But the main difference for the middle school level is the career discovery zone activities. And we'll look at those in more detail in just a couple minutes. But one of the first things that we encourage students to start working on within the platform here for all, no matter what grade level they start, is working through populating their profile details. So I just clicked on profile details here, and now I'm brought to a page with a number of sub-tabs. So this is a page that will transition with the student to high school. So important that they start to add clubs, sports, activities, any employment. And let me just show you how easy that is to add. So they're building a foundation of all the great things they're doing both inside and outside of school. And in doing so, and I'll show you this in just a moment, all of the profile details then tie into a resume builder. So it gets the students to starting to think about what's important for them to to stick with, almost like, okay, so they're on the soccer team in grade 7, so they want to be consistent with that, and they keep track of that within MEFA Pathway. So, and they can add that right within the activities page here. So I'll use that as an example. So the student just clicks add new, and they're brought to a page where they're prompted to select the type of activity. So obviously large drop down box here, but if they don't find what they're looking for, they can just select other. Select the grades that they're involved. Were they involved summer, school year, both? Do you plan to continue at college? Position held. So some of these fields may be applicable, some may not. You know, if they're adding a sport, they might put in a position held. But if they're not, so they don't, these fields are not required. So they type in what's applicable to them, they click save, and once they click save, all of what they add within these profile details appears on the appropriate page. So they're going through adding those, again, sports, clubs, honors and awards, skills and strengths, employment, certification. This is a fairly new page here where the student can add any certifications they've earned. In this case, Willa here, she's gone through CPR class. So they can add that information in. So once they start adding those profile details, let's bounce on over to the resume builder. So all of those profile details then appear on this resume builder page. So when a student wants to create a draft of a resume, they just deselect what they do not want to appear on a particular draft. So as you can see, we have all of those profile details right on this page. So they can add an objective if they want, and they just type that right in, and then they can save it. So I have one saved here that I can show you. As you can see, I don't even know if there's a limit to how many the student can save, but all of what they create in grades 6, 7, and 8, again, they'll be available for the student unless they delete one as the student transitions to high school. So here's one that we created. It has an objective and then all of the profile details on this page. So from here, the student can change the resume style if they like. We have classic and modern, so we have 2 different templates. And then they can further download as a PDF and or download as a Word doc. So if they download as a Word doc, they might be saving it to their laptop. They can then manipulate it further from there, change the font, change the order. So there's really a lot that the student can do to a draft of a resume once they've saved it in MEFA Pathway. Okay, so that's one piece that transitions with the student from the middle school. So that's the profile details along with the resume builder. Also, to show you here, I'm just going to jump to the digital portfolio. So the digital portfolio serves as a visual representation of the student's journey through MEFA Pathway. So this page will grow and change as the student learns more about themselves, identifies their interests, their favorite subjects, the languages maybe that are spoken. And again, this serves as a foundation, and it will build as the student builds their accomplishments and aptitudes. So the activities on the left-hand side of the page here, the activities, the skills, the honors and awards, those all come they populate automatically from those profile details that I just showed you. And then on the right-hand side of the page here, as a student starts to add careers to their career list, and I'll show you that in just a moment, that appears on the right side. They can add, again, those favorite subjects. They can identify a future path. That they can also change this. They can change their future path. So maybe they say, okay, well, I'm thinking I might want to go into the military rather. They can just save that and update it. And then also we have an assessment here. It's the learning styles inventory. So if they want to retake that, the student has already taken that. They've updated their top learning style, but they can also retake it as many times as they like. So it actually brings them to an external website. So again, this is what we kind of consider a repository of all of the great things that the student's working on within the platform. And again, this is a page that will transition with the student once they hit that high school grade. All right, another piece that I would like to point out is under the, let's see, actually it's back under the create your profile. So the goals and strategies page. So this page here allows the student to start to add at the middle school level, both short and long-term academic, career, and personal goals. And when a student adds a goal, they can also add a strategy. So let me just show you how this works here. And the student can add up to 20 goals within each of these domains. So very simple to add a goal, and they're prompted with some goals and descriptions, because sometimes the students may get a little stuck on, you know, what is a goal and what might be a strategy that would accompany that goal. So they can just add the goal name in. They can add a strategy if they like. They identify the type of goal, academic, career, or personal. And then they do have to add an expected completion date. So they add that date, they save it. And then once that's saved, it appears then on this main page, and they can see also the date that the goal and the strategy was created. So once they get past, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, grade 9, grade 10, they can see all of those goals that they've added throughout the years. So this is one of those pages that transitions with the student to the high school level. And it's kind of neat on this page too. This has just been updated. They can change the how they're seeing their goals. So they can sort it by grade level that the goal was created. They can sort it by expected completion date. And it is important that when a student completes or a goal, to come back into MEFA Pathway and update that it has been completed. They just go right in to the edit and then check off the little box. So a great way for students to assess those short and long-term academic, career, and personal goals. All right. So then jumping over to the Discover Career section here. So as I mentioned earlier, the difference one of the main differences between the activities that are available for grades 6, 7, and 8 and the high school level are these Discovery Zone activities. So there are 4 different activities within the Discovery Zone. So we have Everyday Things that allows students to explore careers based on subjects or activities that they enjoy. We have Says Who. This exposes the students to various careers by identifying on-the-job tasks related to specific work environments. We have Favorite Subjects, and this shows the students the connection between the subjects studied in school to potential college majors and career options. And then we have Would You Rather. So Would You Rather allows the students to answer a series of questions to help discover career categories of interest. So all of these activities, when we developed these activities, the idea behind it was more exploration and discovery rather than saving results. So just as an example, let's look into the favorite subjects here, just to show you how it all ties into that career search piece. So the student can select a favorite subject. So maybe they're really into science, so they select science. And then they would see high school classes that are related to this subject, and they can hover over each one and get a little summary of the subjects. And then in addition, what the student can see are related careers. So there's a very short list of careers here, but then they can start that process of tying those subjects into those high school courses and into even a potential career category that they may be interested in. So we just bring up an astronomer, and there's a very small summary page here, but it does show that career category. So the student can start looking at maybe trends of how their talents, their interests, the subjects that they like may tie into a particular career category, even at an earlier age. So if the student would like to save this particular career to their career list, they can just click Save to My List. And once they start saving careers to their list, let's just go and I'll show you what that looks like. Just click on My Career List. And Willa here's been kind of busy. She's got 21 careers on her list. So this career list does transition with the student into the high school grade level. So if they have these 21 careers on their list in grade 8, and then when they start in grade 9, the system automatically acknowledges that they've made that transition to the higher grade level, but the careers remain on their list, the same careers. So as you can see here from the career list, the career name, we have a description, just a brief description. But what's cool about this page is the career category is identified along with the education level. So this gets students to start thinking about possibly a particular path and their post-secondary plan. All right. So now what I'd like to show you is I'm going to actually go and change Willa's grade level so you can see how this account just transitions with the student. So I'm going to change Willa's year of graduation. She's now 2026. I'm going to change it to 2025 because this will show that she's a grade 9 student. And this isn't typical. This is just for our demonstration purposes here. Students usually don't change the year of graduation, but let me just show you here. So let me refresh my page. And now let's go back to Willa's dashboard to see that now I changed her year of graduation. She's now a grade 9 student. So now this is automatic for when the student, again, as I mentioned earlier, the student creates one account in the middle school grade level, and it flows with the student through high school. I just changed the year of graduation so I could show you the difference between what a middle school student sees and what a high school student sees. So Willa is now in grade 9, and this is her dashboard. Looks a little bit different than for the middle school grades. So we're shown suggested activities based on the grade level. So the students always updating their profile, updating their resume, creating a course plan in grade 9, taking those assessments. But what I'd like to show you is the fact that the digital portfolio, as I showed you in grade 8, when Willa was in grade 8, remains. So the student is continuing to build upon what they've established in those middle school grade levels. So along with that digital portfolio are all of those profile details that the student added. The resumes that she saved are also available. And the goals and strategies page, as I showed you, the career list. But then as you can see here, the student also has the opportunity to start searching for colleges. They can even start honing in on financial literacy, learning about scholarships and different types of financial aid. So it really opens up a world of different paths for the student. When we created this platform, we were very much aware and in tune with the fact that not all students are on the same path. So we really wanted to really wanting to incorporate all kinds of different paths, options for students, whether that's going into the military or taking a gap year or going to a 2 or 4 year school. So, and we think hopefully we've done that pretty successfully. So that wraps up our session for today. I thank you for joining. I will, as I mentioned earlier, I will follow up with an email. It'll have my contact information. If you're an educator or a parent, certainly feel free to reach out to me. I do encourage you to create your own student test account so you can get on in there and learn about a little more about MEFA Pathway. And if you're an educator at a school that's interested in becoming one of our affiliate schools, don't hesitate to contact me as well. We currently have approximately 122 schools across Massachusetts that have integrated MEFA Pathway within their curriculum. So that's really exciting, and we're always growing that number too. So, all right, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, and expect an email from me within 24 hours or so. Okay, thank you.